video on Monday and it came out a little bit more ranty than I wanted it to, and I also looked like a bag of ass in the video. I might look a bag of ass in this one because I'm very, very tired and I've been to the hospital today, and yeah, it's not until I edit that I think like, oh, you look awful. But I looked really bad in this video and didn't really feel comfortable with the way that it came across. But I wanted to talk about bottle feeding and how people can sometimes shame bottle feeders a little bit. I feel like I kind of just went off a big rant on Monday, and actually it wasn't meant to come across like that, so I'm going to refilm it and we will see how we go. I might have to like dub both clips in if I forget anything. But yeah, so there seems to be a bit of a stigma, and it might just be my area, or it might, I don't know, but there's a couple of other mums that I've spoken to and that don't live around here that there's a bit of a shame that comes with bottle feeding. So one thing that really surprised me when I fell pregnant is that I always assumed that you fell pregnant and you chose how you fed your baby. So it would be bottle feeding or breastfeeding. And what surprised me is that when I fell pregnant, it was actually assumed that everybody tries breastfeeding, and if it doesn't work for you, you then move on to bottle. And that was something that made me a bit uncomfortable because I'd never really thought about breastfeeding and had always in my head just thought about bottle feeding. Like I just didn't, like I was bottle fed, my brother was bottle fed, it's because my mum can't breastfeed. So I just kind of thought that was the norm really. So yeah, like that probably says a lot about what we're doing for breastfeeding, and I really agree with, I've got hiccups. I really agree with raising awareness of breastfeeding and stuff, so that makes total sense. But because I thought it was the norm, it shocked me a little bit that you were assumed to breastfeed. And I don't really want to breastfeed. There's a couple of reasons why, which I'll go into. But every time I've discussed any form of not wanting to breastfeed or feeling like bottle is best for us, I've had weird looks, my decision's been questioned, and the main thing that everybody says is, why don't you just try it? Which is fine, and I completely appreciate why people do that. But if I said that I was going to breastfeed, no one would ask, why don't I try bottle feeding? And I just find it a bit annoying really that it's one of my parental decisions for my baby and it's questioned before he's even here. And I get why, because I get that like everyone's pro breast and you're supposed to support it, and I'm happy to be educated about breastfeeding, like until the cows come home. That's a joke. Talking about milk. So yeah, so I just find it a bit difficult really. Like I don't question other people's parental choices. Like I don't question why they send their children to school or anything like that. So I don't know why my first one is being questioned, but that's fine. So the reasons that we've chosen to breastfeed, bottle feed, are that it's really important to me that Rich and my family can help with feeding. So when I come home from maternity leave, I come home from the hospital with the baby, there'll be a big support network and I want them all to be able to muck in. It's really important to Rich to be able to bottle feed his child. He really wants to build that bond with his baby, and I've heard cases where babies won't settle with their dad because they know that their mum is the one with the milk and that can comfort them. So they just kind of won't be comforted by their dad, which I think is quite sad. And I think when sometimes with men or daddies, they can get pushed out as it is anyway, and I really don't want that to happen. So yeah, so we'll go on to like you could express later, because I do understand that that's an option. So yeah, so that was a big thing. I want my mum to be able to help. I also want Rich's kids to be able to help feed too, because when my brother was born, we've got a 7-year age difference, and that was quite an important part of our bonding, was that I was able to help feed him, and I felt really responsible and grown up, and we built a relationship based on that. So that was really important. And then yeah, like I want to be able to see how much he's taken and stuff like that, and it just feels like the right decision for us. There's something about breastfeeding that just doesn't quite feel like it's the decision for us, and I can't really put my finger on that, and people will say whatever they want about that, and that's completely fine. This video is not to start a debate, it's just kind of to raise a point, I guess. Like I don't want to debate whether breast is best or whatever, because I appreciate that maybe it is, but you know, bottle feeding is also there, and if it was that bad it would be illegal, and it's totally not. It's totally accepted. So yeah, the thing that upsets me is that I feel ashamed to admit that I am going to bottle feed, and I am scared to make this video. I'm scared to announce it on social media because I'm scared of what people are going to do. And if I ever told like a colleague or a friend or family that I want to bottle feed, I just get a lot of stick for it, and I'm not happy about that. I think that it should be my decision. Like I said, if people feel that they want to lend an opinion on why I shouldn't do that, then I'm like I'm not rude, like I'd happily hear it, but it doesn't change. My camera just froze. But yeah, it wasn't a decision that I went into lightly. So I already am educated about breast versus bottle, and I completely understand that. So it won't change anything. So I always want to talk about combi feeding or combine feeding. I sound so Somerset when I say combine. So yeah, I then, after I decided that I really wanted to have bottle as an option for my family, looked at combine feeding. I can't even say it without laughing. Yeah, I looked at combi feeding, because obviously then you're getting the best of both. Like, so there's two methods of combi feeding. So you can either express breast milk and bottle feed and boob feed breast milk, or you can express like breast milk and formula feed and do breast milk or boob. Yeah, so you can bring there's still lots of different ways to do it. So looked at it, like looked into it, and kind of looked at breast pumps and stuff like that. But the more people I spoke to about that as an option, that people have tried and tested it, as well as like midwives, they really said that it wasn't that simple. They said that, you know, getting your milk supply is a really hard balance. So if you're breastfeeding and expressing, you could end up overproducing milk, because obviously you're with like taking more out than kind of is necessary, like because you're not just doing cluster feeds, you're also doing like a backup milk supply. So they said you can either end up with your boobs either attached to a baby or attached to a breast pump, and that's pretty much your life, which I didn't really want. And like I might not be able to express, and then I'm, you know, in a position, and what else? And baby takes a preference, so baby could end up not getting on with combi feeding because we don't know, and he might choose that he just wants boob, not bottle, and then that doesn't really help my situation because it goes against all the reasons that I wanted to bottle feed, because I would be stuck as the sole feeder, which I don't want for our family. I want everybody else to be able to muck in, and that might sound selfish, and that's fine. Like, I completely respect why people think it is selfish, but I'm not a selfish person, and I'm not doing it for selfish reasons. I'm doing it because I genuinely think it's the best thing for everybody. So that's kind of what put me off combi feeding, and just thought I would just rather just stick to what I want, basically. What was my other thing that I was gonna say? I've lost my train of thought completely. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is a lot of people say to me, why don't you just try it? Which again, like, it's fine, and I respect why people do that, but if I try breastfeeding and like it, it still doesn't help all of the reasons that I want to bottle feed. So even if I try breastfeeding, I'm like, oh yeah, it's great, and I'm really good at it, I still in the long run want to bottle feed, so would be switching him back to bottle feeding. So I don't see the point in trying it for a few days, going through the stress of getting him to latch on, confusing a poor newborn baby who I think's been through enough already after labour, and then trying to get him onto a bottle as well. Like, I think it's a bit too much for them. So yes, that's kind of my reason for bottle feeding. But yeah, I just want to talk about it really, because it just still shocks me to this day how much of an opinion people have against it, and I just think we need to adopt the fed is best path. Like, people might think that I'm failing my child for not even trying it, which is fine. Like, I will have people think whatever they want, and that's totally fine. It's nothing to do with that, and there are reasons that people might not agree with, and that's okay. Like, it's not their baby, it's not their body, and it's fine. But yeah, I just feel like I don't think you should form any opinion on how people are choosing to cope with their baby. So I want, when this baby comes, to be as stress-free as possible. For me, doing breastfeeding was going to be a little bit more stressful than it was to be doing bottle feeding, and that might be selfish because I get that I can even hear people saying it, but you know, I don't have an opinion on people that pick up the baby too much. I don't even think that's a thing. Like, I actually think you can't pick up your baby too much. I think they need as many cuddles as you can give, but whatever, that's a whole different subject. But I don't have an opinion on how anybody chooses to get through their day with a newborn. I don't have an opinion on whether the baby has a dummy or not. I couldn't care less whether you take your baby for a sleep, for a drive. Just like, I just think when there's a new baby, do whatever you need to do, because it's going to be hard anyway. Like, your life's turned upside down. So I don't understand why people who either haven't had children, because that's happened, people without children have questioned me, or people that had children years ago, or just anybody has any say in the way that anybody else copes with their child. Unless they're hurting their baby or doing something that's going to detrimentally damage them, it's none of your business. And I just kind of wanted to get that across, really, because I'm just kind of fed up of like having to justify myself. But I have decided to take a soul vouch that from now on I will be a proud bottle feeder that will tell everybody I'm going to feed from bottle. Yeah, and just kind of suck it up, really. So that's that, really. But yeah, sorry if it comes across a bit ranty, but I just feel it's really important to raise awareness. Like, I've seen another couple of videos like with the same message, and I really appreciated them and just felt like at least it's not just me. So that's kind of the reason I'm doing it, and I think it's just important to talk about. So thank you very much for watching. There are new pregnancy and baby related videos every Monday and Friday. So Friday are normally pregnancy updates. But if you liked this video and if you want to hear more about pregnancy and baby, then please subscribe, or if you're already subscribed, then thank you. And please give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one.